it's Barb, Meeple PhD, with another Cosmic Game Connection. Recently, I discovered a story talking about marshmallow worlds, and I was intrigued, so I had to look into it a little bit more. And what I found is that researchers had discovered the lowest density planet that was orbiting a red dwarf star. They found this planet called TOI 3757b, which has the size of about Jupiter, with only a quarter the mass of Jupiter. And if you do the math, this puts it at a density of about the same as a marshmallow. Now, this isn't the first giant planet that has been found around a red dwarf star, but it does raise a lot of questions because they're not super common either. And the existence of such planets, especially one with such a puffy atmosphere, such a low density, has astronomers questioning some of their models of how planets form and thinking about, the environments in which planets can form. So the surprises here come in for a couple different reasons. First of all, red dwarfs are fairly small stars. They are about half the mass of our sun. That means when they form, they're forming from a disk that doesn't have as much stuff in it as, say, our sun formed from. And one of the questions is, how much material is left over from that star formation process? Is there really enough to create these giant planets? I mean, clearly there is, but, it's a bit of a challenge for some of our models. But another huge question here is, red dwarfs, not only are they small, but they're known to be volatile. They throw off flares of material and kind of like our solar flares, but more massive than that. And these flares that they send out can strip away atmospheres. So when you have a giant planet, especially one with a very puffy atmosphere, not very dense, which also means it's not as gravitationally strong necessarily, strongly tied to its planet, those outer layers can get stripped away fairly easily. And when you've got the combination of a star that's throwing off these flares that can strip away even the best atmospheres, and this planet that is kind of puffy, it's a bit of a puzzle how that happened. And right now, we don't know the answers, which is one of the most exciting things about science, at least for me. It is this cycle of questions and answers. We find something that's surprising, we ask the questions of how it got there, we start to answer them, we look for other observations that can help us understand what's going on. And so right now, these researchers are looking into, proposing for time on JWST to see if they can find out more about this planet's atmosphere. Maybe what it's made of will give them some clues as to how this could happen and how it formed. In the meantime, though, you and I are just going to have to wait until those observations happen and those researchers publish the papers with the results to know what is going on and what they think is happening and how this planet can even form. So in the meantime, I think I will just sit here and think about marshmallows orbiting a star and be delighted. When I thought about this puffy marshmallow-like planet, the game that came to mind was Parks. Parks is a game where players are moving their hikers down a trail to visit the forests and vistas needed to collect memories and visit the U.S. national parks. Parks is a game that's played over 4 seasons. Each season, the tiles that make up the trail are mixed up and laid out, and players move their hikers down this trail. Each player has 2 hikers that they're moving, and on a turn they will choose one to move it. They can move as far as they want down the trail, but they can never move backwards. Once they land on a site, they will then activate it. This could be as simple as taking a resource like a tree or a mountain, sunshine or water, or there could be some other actions as well, like turning in materials for a wild material, or turning in a couple of memories to take a picture. Once players get to the end of the trail, they'll have a choice to make. They can either buy equipment. The equipment is stuff that can help them throughout the game, maybe providing a discount for visiting parks or giving them an alternate action they can do at some of the sites on the trail. Or they can reserve a park or they can visit a park. Now, in order to visit the park, they're going to need to turn in resources, their memories, those mountains and trees and sunshine and water, that are shown on either a park that's in the display or one that they have previously reserved. Now, typically, when they are moving down the trail, they can't visit a site with another hiker, even their own hiker. However, every player has a campfire token, which allows them to move into another player's spot, but then they have to extinguish their fire. When one of their hikers reaches the end of the trail, they get to reignite their fire so that they can possibly use it one more time during that round. Now, when all players have their hikers at the end of the trail, they will enter the next season. You shuffle up the trail, add one more tile, lay out a new trail, and start all over again. At the end of the 4th season, players will then add up their scores. They will get points from each of the parks that they visited, for pictures that they've taken along the way. Whoever has the start player marker will also get an additional point, and whoever has the most points wins the game. Now, like I said, normally you can't land on a space with another player's marker, or even your own marker, unless you extinguish your fire. And the way I like to think of this is that you are making amends for invading another player's territory by lighting up a fire and making s'mores. And of course, this is where that marshmallow planet comes in. So the next time you're playing a game of parks and you are moving your hiker into a space with another hiker and you're extinguishing your fire, take just a minute to pretend that the two of you are sitting there roasting marshmallows, or maybe a tiny piece of TOI 3757D. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back again soon with another Cosmic Game Connection and other videos on my channel, so be sure to like and subscribe so that you know when my new videos come out. If you have any questions about the game or the science, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them. Otherwise, you can follow me elsewhere on the internet as MaplePhD on Instagram and Twitter, and I have a blog at maplephd.com